The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Is Marcus Pettersson a top 5 defensive defenseman of all time? What? Or is he one of the worst defensemen of all time? Who are we going to listen to? A guy who won a Stanley Cup or Frank Seravalli? Who are we going to listen to our hearts? So let's talk about this on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
A happy hump day, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, and also a Canucks writer currently with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we hop into the show, we got to thank you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks, because it is your Canucks every damn day. And I already see it going off in the comments. Is this a 420 friendly show? Okay, whenever you're celebrating, if you're celebrating, it's all good, baby. We got you because we love you for tuning in. We're also not here without the sponsors, and today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Go download that Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Man, oh man, Canucks fans must feel like they are hallucinating a bit, because you keep seeing Pettersson and another Pettersson out there. And man, oh man, differentiating opinions on all of the Petterssons in Vancouver. But let's touch on the one that we talked about the least, I think, last night, and that is Marcus Pettersson. Is this guy one of the best defensive defensemen in hockey, or is he a bottom pairing defender like some want you to believe? We'll touch on that. We'll also get into more about the defense. Big D day on Locked On Canucks on a hump day. Touching on Hronek, Petey, and the ghosts of Canucks past. Let's get into it now with my co-host Kyle Bowen. Kyle, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm having a decent time in life right now, right? Canucks 4-1-1, doing their thing, but also still missing Quinn Hughes at practice. You got to take the ups and downs, and you got to stay right in the middle, right? That's what life's all about. All in all, though, let's just stay on the up, okay? The real up. How tall is Marcus Pettersson again? 8'6", 126 pounds. Anyways, this dude, let's be honest and let's be real, he's made a difference, because we haven't had Quinn Hughes against the Red Wings. We haven't had Quinn Hughes against the Colorado Avalanche, and we have 3 points, and our defense has looked really good. And I'm assuming, I don't know if you're going to be a media member any more times this season, Trevor Beggs, but I'm assuming when you get into that locker room again, the locker room is looking a lot better too. Because, man, oh man, the dirt keeps coming out. And there was another instance this morning where Brad Richardson, this guy's becoming the snitch of the Vancouver Canucks, okay? He was a Vancouver Canuck twice. The second time he was a Vancouver Canuck a couple years ago was for like 20 games or like 15 games. And man, oh man, this guy had all the details on JT Miller earlier, saying he's too harsh on the boys. And now this morning, I'm hearing that he told Patrick Allvin that they better insulate that locker room with more vets to make sure that, JT Miller doesn't turn into a bigger problem. I'm paraphrasing a bit, but that's what he's hitting on. And how does that attach to Marcus Pettersson? Well, I asked Trevor Beggs this question last night away from the stream because I forgot. Does this season look completely different if in the offseason a couple months ago they bring back Zadorov, they bring back Tanev, another one of those nice guys, an older nice guy, a good locker room presence in that room? You know what I'm saying? Somebody to not be superior to JT Miller, but, just like somebody else. Does everything look different? Because I don't know. And here we have Marcus Pettersson again being a big member of the Vancouver Canucks, not because he's tall, not because he's just good at defense, but because he's a nice guy. Like, I'm just looking at all the pieces or all the tidbits of information. And I'm like, yo, this team desperately needed Marcus Pettersson.
Yeah, and Brad Richardson's take was interesting, but I guess Miller's 31 years old. How many more veterans do you want to insulate him with? And when Brad Richardson was with the Canucks, granted, Miller was in his late 20s, not his early 30s, so maybe it's a bit of a different conversation. But that definitely seemed like a bit of a Jim Benning mentality to me in terms of, let's just get all the old vets. Like, where are the Jay Beagles and Antoine Rosellas to keep this guy in line? And that's maybe how you help the culture of the room, but that's not necessarily how you go and win a Stanley Cup. It is about finding that balance. And Tyler Myers is definitely a vocal guy in that room too. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
but
think he gets
Here's
enough
the thing
credit.
about Tyler Myers, okay? Like, if JT Miller's a 100-point player, a 90-point player, and I know, like, people are probably tired of hearing this, but it's just all interesting, fascinating stuff. Like, oh, what is Richardson saying? Like, oh, this team needs more veterans. Like, we already have Tyler Myers, and like, I'm not sure if Tanner Pearson was around that time or healthy, but like, there's players there. But if one of those players can't come close to JT Miller's output, you think JT Miller's gonna listen? Hell no, hell no. That's just the truth. I'm not saying Zadorov or Tanev or a guy like Marcus Pettersson matches that, but they still drive play within the game. Like, they help in a net positive way, time in and time out, when it comes to helping this team win. Where Tyler Myers, he's still pretty inconsistent with that, outside of playing with Quinn Hughes. Now, again, Myers has also played good with Marcus Pettersson as well. He's having a good second half of the season.
Yeah, 100%. And I think just to put a bow on that, like, look, I do think having Tanev in that locker room would have made a difference. Having Zadorov there to me is an interesting conversation, but when you're a guy that has the attitude of not wanting to be there, right? Like Jim Rutherford said, they offered him the exact same contract and you chose Boston. I mean, that's not really a guy you want in that locker room either.
F him.
Chris Tanev was interesting. I mean, we're talking almost 5 years ago now that he left the Canucks, right? But he was with that team at a crucial stage as they were just looking like they were going to come into their own. And I do think that was a big loss both on the ice and in that locker room. But can they replace a bit of that with Marcus Pettersson? I think they can. I mean, look at the clips of this guy when he's mic'd up. The clips of him in the Penguins dressing room. He does seem like a jolly good fellow, to put it lightly there. And, Andrew in the comments saying Crosby sung his praises big time. I mean, Crosby and Tocchet reportedly, they text from time to time. Crosby likes to pick Tocchet's brain. And he talked about Marcus Pettersson's leadership. And look, I think it's bringing Pettersson in. Obviously, he brings it on the ice, and that's what matters most. But I do think he's going to bring some positivity to that room as well. And you heard some of the players talk last night about how the newcomers have, in terms of O'Connor, in terms of Hedl, in terms of Marcus Pettersson, they brought that infectious energy was, I think, the word that was used in that locker room last night.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's what you want to see, and hopefully it can affect everyone on this team from top to bottom.
And hopefully it can affect more like directly. And again, this is what I think is the big secret when it comes to bringing in Marcus Pettersson. Obviously, they needed a nice guy in that room. You replace Miller with Pettersson. I'm making that a serious thing. You also replace him with Hedl too. Like, not the skill set, but you see the smiles. It's a little different. It's a little different. Okay, no, it's a little lighter. Okay, they made all these moves for Pettersson, like the other Pettersson, the real Pettersson, sort of, but just in totality, the room seems a little bit lighter. All that being said, Marcus Pettersson being a nice guy, a good guy, a great leader, getting the cosign from Sidney Crosby, I don't think he's lying about that. Like, Marcus Pettersson seems legit, and if he can still be a quality defenseman, a really good defenseman, okay, I want to listen to Mike Rupp and be like, yo, maybe he is a top 15, top 20. I don't know if he's going to be a top 5 defensive defenseman in the league, but maybe he can be that Chris Tanev-esque, right? If he can still play at that level and also not just lead the majority of the boys, but single-handedly guide Elias Pettersson, then it's a double whammy, right? That Swedish connection, boom, bam. Correct me if I'm wrong. Matthias Olin might have done that for Alex Edler for a bit. Like, it's important. It's important. I want to know what Marcus Pettersson can do to Elias Pettersson, okay?
Yeah, 100%. And we talk about newcomers, right? And Elias Pettersson is a newcomer in one sense, 4 career games. And man, oh man, we were pumping up Big D last night. Go check out that episode from the post game. But man, oh man, I know they call him junior in that locker room right now. Maybe they haven't seen the wrench yet, man. But I bet that guy's got the biggest wrench on the team.
Whoa.
100%.
Wow. Okay. Well, do you just want to touch on Marcus Pettersson's leadership? Not talk. Come on. Okay. Like, no, I think it's a serious thing. I think, again, you heard Alvin talk about. You heard Alvin talk about not wanting to give up any of his young defensemen, and you have to give some to get some in regards to how they acquired Marcus Pettersson. Okay, so Alvin didn't want to give up Tom Willander, obviously. Didn't want to give up Elias Pettersson. Not so obvious. I didn't know that. Didn't want to give up Kirill Kudryavtsev. Okay, he didn't want to give up that guy. He didn't want to give up Sawyer Minio. Okay, I think his evaluation on these D-men are super duper high, especially again with Elias Pettersson, a 3rd round pick from last year. And again, it'd be crazy to say that they brought in Marcus Pettersson to tutor him, but I think the transition is going to be a lot easier. Like, it's a blessing in disguise. And whether it be a big secret or not, or just a coincidence, dude, we're only like 4 days past the Miller trade or 5 days past the Miller trade, and I'm like really happy they made this move.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be impressed, right? It's like the Canucks have arguably played 3 of their best games of the season, and yeah, they've only picked up, points, and they picked up 3 of 6 points, right, in those 3 games. But they've been playing some of their best hockey, and they've done it in 2 games without Quinn Hughes, and they've done it in 3 games, arguably without at least the ceiling of Elias Pettersson. And Marcus Pettersson's been a big part of that, especially with Quinn Hughes out of the lineup. And just to kind of touch on the take there, Frank Seravalli, he doubled down on that take on local radio this morning. Basically, this guy's a number 4 or 5 defenseman, doesn't move the puck well, blah, blah, blah. I think Marcus Pettersson actually does a really good job of moving the puck out of his own end. Like, it's not flashy. It is the safe play up the boards all the time. But watch the tape on this guy. More often than not, he's finding a way to get his stick in there, disrupt things, and get the puck out of his own end. He's one of the best defensemen in the league, statistically, when you look at his retrievals with the puck. And again, for a Canucks team that, they had a lot of big guys, a lot of big bodies, but they just weren't good at actually retrieving the puck. The Canucks needed a defenseman like that. So I don't think Frank Seravalli is right in this take. I think Marcus Pettersson is not a 4 or 5. I do think he's a number 3 defenseman.
Well, Seravalli said he's a 5'6". That's what
he went on local radio today and now called him a 4 or 5. So you can tell the cracks of the foundation are already forming there. So look, I know Mike Rupp from NHL Network said this guy's a top 5 defensive defenseman in the league. I'm not quite going to go that far. There's a lot of good defensive defensemen in the league, but Marcus Pettersson's in that upper echelon, in my opinion.
Well, okay, what happened? Sorry to cut you off. No, go ahead. Give the fancy stats before I say what I want to say.
Yeah, I was going to say the defensive metrics fell off a cliff a bit this year with the Pittsburgh Penguins, but it's also a team that is incredibly permissive, and you can't really put that all on Marcus Pettersson. I mean, he's not going to be a savior to a team's defense, but if he's slotted properly in a number 3 role, that's fine. I mean, he was arguably the number 3 in Pittsburgh, but Letang and Erik Karlsson can't play defense, not at this stage of their careers, at least.
That's what I was trying to get at. Like, I wonder what happens. And again, not only have the Canucks played decent hockey, and good defense without Quinn Hughes, they also limited shot attempts with spreading Quinn Hughes or spreading Filip Hronek away from Quinn Hughes. So, like, I think in the foreseeable future, that's going to be a permanent thing. Like, I wonder if Filip Hronek and Marcus Pettersson can form something straight up. I also wonder if that's not the case. Listen to this. I wonder if Marcus Pettersson and Tom Olander can be a thing. I wonder if Quinn Hughes and Tom Olander can be a thing. I'm being high on Marcus Pettersson right now. I know it's a lot. I know we gave up an unprotected 1st-round pick possibly for this guy. One of the biggest pieces out of that JT Miller trade. But again, I'm seeing Trevor. Here's the truth, okay? Once you don't have good D in you for a long time, you start missing it. You start missing that D. And for about 6-7 months here, I was missing that D. Okay, and now I'm in love with the D all over again because Marcus Pettersson is showing me the light, and you can't move forward without a good D.
I'll be damned.
You know what I'm saying? So losing to Zadorov, Cole last year, boom, bam, taking a step back from Carson. So you see, like, we just felt like we had like a top 10 decor last year, and then we had a bottom 5, with Quinn Hughes on our team this year. And like Marcus Pettersson is just showing me the light, and I'm looking forward to what's next for the Canucks, man.
100%. And defense is looking good. Goaltending is looking good. Can they figure it out offensively? More on that, I think, on another episode of Locked On Canucks. Because on the other side, I do want to touch more about Filip Hronek and DPD in particular among the Canucks defense, their performances last night, and who they remind us of. One last point on Marcus Pettersson I want to make. We'll talk more about his contract as the days go on. The Athletic, I pulled up his player card from the Athletic. Based on the value that he's given to the Penguins over the past couple of seasons, but more heavily weighted towards this year, the Athletic has his market value at $7.6 million.
Okay. You know what?
He's not signed for that.
Let's cut
He's
the
not
episode.
signed up for that, but I think my point is, if you sign him somewhere in that 5 to 6-ish range, he should be providing value on that contract. Hit us up in the comments. What do you think is a fair contract for Marcus Pettersson? Let's cut to break here. You're listening to Locked On Canucks. Your Canucks every damn day. We'll be back on the other side after shouting at our friends over at FanDuel. Super Bowl 59 is here. One game, 2 teams, endless possibilities. Oh, well, or Casey or the Eagles win. Anyways, there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel Sportsbook, okay? So get the pickles wrapped in bacon, get the nachos, get the Super Bowl snacks, and get the FanDuel app out, baby. Whether it's predicting the first touchdown, calling the MVP, or betting on the coin toss, FanDuel makes it easy to get in on the action with live betting all game long. You can adjust your bet as the game unfolds and feel the thrill from kickoff to the final whistle. The FanDuel Sportsbook app, it's so easy that even I can use it, okay? That's something else. And the live betting feature lets you stay involved no matter what happens on the field. So right now, go to FanDuel.com to get started. Bet just $5 and you'll score $200 in bonus bets. That's on FanDuel.com. Bet with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 59.
Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks, a team that is 4-1-1 in their last 6 games. I'm feeling like myself. I'm a nicer person. Road to the playoffs, okay? With the D. Okay, we got to hold on to that D and grip it tight all the way to April, man. That's what it is. Trevor Beggs with me too, second best dad in the world. How's life, man? What's new in fatherhood, man? Like, again, you talk a lot about Carson Soucy. You empathize with him. You want the Canucks to hold on to him because you're like, yo, this guy's a father of 2. I'm a father of 2 too. Like, let's empathize with what this guy has to work with at home. Explain more about that. Like, what are you dealing with at home? Okay, these days.
Well, anyone with kids knows I got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. It's freaking chaos all the time, man. But I'll tell you 2 quick stories. I didn't tell you this one, Kyle, but after you got out of the hospital, I was gonna go check up on you, right? Mm-hmm. I got home and my daughter's about to go to bed, and she's like, "Is Kyle alive?" And then the other day, we're tossing around a ball at the house, and she starts saying like, "Kyle Connor." I was like, Kyle Connor, like, what?
Wow.
But remember that story I told you about, like, how she was saying "Go Canucks go," and Connor got his hat trick. So yeah, now the Winnipeg Jets and Kyle Connor in her head apparently.
There you go. She's watching the Sportsnet highlights and boom, embedded in her mind. That's why you got to watch what your children watch, man.
Oh, man.
When I have children, I'm never letting them watch Canucks highlights if we lost that game. I don't even do that. I haven't watched Canucks highlights after a loss, like, since I was like 7 years old. Like, that's just traumatizing. Who does that? People who like pain. Okay? People like to get choked. What? Where am I going with this? Okay, Filip Hronek, DPD, the player comp. You want to talk about this? I think you want to bring up Alex Edler too. Okay. Again, I mentioned this yesterday. I wasn't calling Filip Hronek a choke artist or anything, but I wanted more from him. I want more offensively from Filip Hronek. I don't want us to move towards the future where goal scoring is going up, and we're not expecting Filip Hronek at bare minimum, with or without Quinn Hughes, to put up 41 points, bare minimum. Okay. Anyways, he did that last night. Like, he picked up 2 points, if I'm correct, right? He had 2 assists. Am I right on that?
Yeah.
Am I right on that? He did have 2 assists.
Yeah.
Okay. And the second one was beautiful. All that being said, let's hear more about this player comp, Trevor.
Well, I think it's interesting, right? Just I was seeing the ghost of Alex Edler last night for a couple of different reasons, and I think let's start with Phil Hronek. Phil Hronek to me seems like a more agile Alex Edler, a bit quicker on his feet, likes to get involved physically. He's not quite as big as Edler. Still makes that boneheaded decision from time to time, but overall a really solid defenseman. And you saw it in the numbers last night. I mean, over from our friends at Hockey Stat Cards, in terms of game score, Hronek was the best Vancouver Canuck last night. I mean, I think we would all argue it was probably Demko, and DPD certainly had our attention, but Filip Hronek, I think, was the best Vancouver Canuck last night. Just with some incredible work on the boards. He's quick, he moves the puck, and much like Alex Edler as well, he loves to fire pucks wide of the net, and he loves to fire pucks into shin pads. So I think for a multitude of reasons, he does remind me of Alex Edler. So curious what you and other Canuck fans think of that.
I mean, he's obviously like a little bit shorter, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to like close my eyes and remember more about Alex Edler. And I mean, he was a Canuck for so long, and I'm trying to make the two connect. I don't see it right now, but I will use this time to talk about Filip Hronek's defense. And I mean, Alexander Edler was more so known for the defensive side of things and being physical and whatnot. I know he kind of slowed down after he had like multiple back injuries, and he couldn't, do the same things. And by no means is Filip Hronek, when he's at his best physically, laying out people like Edler used to do. But one thing that I appreciate that doesn't show up probably on the fantasy stats is how tenacious Filip Hronek is. Like he's mean. I feel like every shift he plays, he's mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a good thing. Like we need some of that bite. And Trevor, like this is an interesting question. I never thought about this, but I wonder if his leadership role expands in that team. I know he's a quiet guy at the media, but I wonder with Miller leaving, I wonder if, again, Filip Hronek, the way he plays, the aggressor, again, not perfect with the puck all the time. We've only seen him in the majority with Quinn Hughes. Now it's time to see him shine, and he's been doing pretty well with freaking Forbert, okay, Yogurt or whatever his name is, okay. So I'm happy about that. But again, like, do you think he expands his role as a leader? Like, do we need that?
Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking about that last night. I mean, this was power play specific, but you saw him talking a lot to Elias Pettersson when they were setting up formations for the power play last night when he was out on the ice. And yeah, sure, the power play, I guess Brock Besser did bury a power play goal there, but wasn't the most dangerous power play. But regardless, he was in there and he was communicating to his teammates. And, you know, Filip Hronek knows how to talk. And I think he is a vocal guy behind closed doors. He just when it comes to the media, he doesn't want to say too much. That's fine. That's cool.
It is what it is. Yeah. Again, I'm so curious about that locker room dynamic and how things change. And I'll double down on it. I just want more from Filip Hronek. You know, you pay a guy 7.25. Like how much is Devon Taves making? Like
about 7 million, I believe. I think it's 7 million flat.
I want similar dog. Okay, I want similar output. I'm sorry. And I think that's fair to ask. Like, we don't have to be so nice to like our most expensive players. Like, oh, at least he did this. At least he did this. Yo, how about more? Do more. That's okay. That's how you win championships. The guys you pay the most, they gotta do more. They still gotta, play above their player contract. And at the base, Filip Hronek is solid. You know how we just talked about Marcus Pettersson? They're different players, but we get that same sort of output, okay? Like, you're in the net positive with those guys. But when you pay a guy that much and for that long, and you also give up premium assets like Bo Horvat for him, it's easy for me to expect that with or without Hughes, I want more offense from Filip Hronek. And just, again, I'm not worried so much about the defensive side of things, but having more of that drive to be an individual and lead this team, whether it be like philosophically in the locker room or just physically on the ice when it comes to like producing offense and doing things on the score sheet. I think it's a must for Filip Hronek. And, I brought up the whole thing with Marcus Pettersson. Like, do you think that those two could be because I see it. I feel like those two could be like a real shutdown pairing. Like this whole notion that we need to have Tyler Myers be a shutdown defenseman for us. Like, yo, can we get rid of that? Can we stop doing that? Can we stop loving that? Like, I think Filip Hronek and Marcus Pettersson could go up against some of the best lines in hockey. I truly do believe that.
Yeah, I mean, it's I struggle with that a bit because, Filip Hronek and Quinn Hughes are arguably the best deep pair in the NHL. And then,
but Quinn Hughes doesn't play against the best players all the time. So you're going to pay two.
On a lot of nights he does, though. I mean, he's out there for such a long period of time.
But sometimes you don't even see this guy at the end of the games.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they kind of protect him sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that means, it is what it is. But, like, I don't want to move towards a future where our two highest defensemen are not out there at the end of the game. And we have Forbert doing it. I'm done with that. Like, let's put pressure on our most expensive players to just get the job done.
I don't mind that logic at all. Kyle, I think let's cut to break here. On the other side, I do want to talk a bit about DPD versus Alex Edler. Get us some comments as well. I might have to hop out a little early.
You hop out after you talk about Edler, and I'll read a bunch of comments, man. Let's do it, man. It's winter, okay? And the Canucks are 4-1-1. Yo, we doing it for the people. I'm reading a ton of comments after Trevor leaves, man.
All right, there we go. You're listening to Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every damn day before the ad break. Hey, we're looking for local sponsors. If you or your friend got a business looking for some advertising opportunities, you want to make me your biatch, get in touch with us. And let's get some ad reads going, baby. Again, Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day. We'll be back after showing it our friends over at Gametime. Are you looking for tickets for your next big event? Whether it's a concert, a comedy show, or a sports game, finding the right ticket at the right price can be a headache. But with Gametime Picks, it's never been easier. Let me tell you how it works. With Gametime Picks, the app does all the hard work for you. It curates the best deals so you don't have to waste time searching through endless ticket listings. I've been using Gametime since the birth of the smartphone, man, or it feels like that long at least, because I have cross-referenced it on other ticket apps, and I'm telling you, Gametime, they got the lowest prices, okay? And there's no surprise fees at checkout either. Plus, you get the views from the seat on the app. Man, oh man, I can feel like I'm at Rogers Arena when I'm sitting on the toilet and I sip my beer and I pretend that it costs $18. So make sure you take the guesswork into buying tickets with Gametime. Go down the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Boom, bam. Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks, Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bow, and more importantly, though, again, Trevor Beggs, and also you and you, and you and you, and you and you. Do us a favor right now if you're enjoying the show, enjoying the banter, enjoying the positivity. I feel like I'm smoking that West Coast bias actually today. Hit the like button, okay? It helps out the show a lot. And if you're listening to this on the podcast side, leave us a nice review, okay? It's Christmas in like 10 months. Trevor Beggs, take it away before you leave, man.
Yeah, I think with DPD, one of the most interesting things to look at in terms of him and Edler are, again, the parallels, right? Both third-round picks. Edler at 91st overall, DPD at 80th overall. And both guys at the age of 20, surprisingly earning a spot with the NHL team. Now, Alex Edler joined the Canucks in 06-07, played 22 games, a goal, 3 points, got into 3 playoff games as well. And by the next season, he was a full-time NHLer and went on to be a full-time NHLer for most of the next 15 seasons. Most of those, of course, with the Vancouver Canucks. And again, you look at DPD right now, and he's not going to be as offensively gifted as Edler. Like, I don't see DPD ever having double-digit goals.
I don't know about that.
Well, even if you look at their production as junior players in Sweden, and I know Alex Edler went to the WHL for a season as well, looking at their stats in the AHL at the same age, Alex Edler is a better offensive player than DPD. Like you said, DPD is doing a really good job of pinching in the O-zone, getting pucks to the net, getting his own individual scoring chances. So I don't want to put a ceiling on it, but I would be pretty surprised if he reached the same offensive heights that Alex Edler reached. But that being said, DPD is a really sound, strong defenseman. I think he's going to be more sound defensively than Edler was, because Edler still did have those gaps in his game. And again, he was really solid overall, but he did have those gaps in his game. I'm not sure DPD, if he develops, will have the same gaps, and he's physical and meaner than Alex Edler as well. So again, with Filip Hronek with DPD, I thought a lot about Alex Edler last night, and again, really fascinating to see both these guys, third-round picks, Swedes, come into this Canucks team at the same age and defy the odds.
Yeah, I want to see again, like this appreciation that we have for a third-round pick from last year. Like, this would make way more sense if Elias Pettersson, was a third-round pick from like 4 years ago and 3 years ago and had time to develop. But this guy might have that dog in him, He might have that dog in him, and he's just so good at hockey, so good with his instincts, and also just loves to have fun. I mean, I think that's like the fastest way to be instinctual, especially as an athlete. And when the pressure's on and now you're playing in the NHL, your dreams are coming true. If you can tap into having fun, again, you can just be yourself. And the fact that he's been able to learn lessons, again, this player, like, go watch what he did in the preseason this year. This guy looked like Noah Juleson, and rightfully so. He's a third-round pick from last year. He was struggling with the puck, doing all those things, but apparently this guy learned everything in a short amount of time in Abbotsford. And then boom, bam, you take it to this year. His first game was against Washington, and he played good for 2 periods. But in that third period, he struggled. A goal went off of him. He had a couple turnovers as well. Gets the healthy scratch, and boom, bam, he's already learned his lessons. And not only did he learn those lessons, but he's like, I don't got to be scared. I don't got to be a little beep. You know what I'm saying? I don't got to play it safe. Let me just be me. And the fact that he's been able to do that in a short amount of time tells me that not only is he a fast learner, but he's confident. And that's why I feel like he has a lot of Nikita Zadorov in him. And
yeah, wow, there we go.
And I know you got to go, Trevor, but maybe you can touch on this last point for me. Again, we've been working together for a long time. I said in the summer that a big reason why the Canucks didn't keep Nikita Zadorov was because they have faith that Elias Pettersson could do similar things. Now, I was wrong on that based on the fact that Vancouver apparently did whatever it took to keep Zadorov. Zadorov was just playing them. But I think there's a comp there to be had.
Yeah, and again, DPD is not going to be as big as Zadorov. Like, that's out of his control. But I think he can provide some similar aspects that Zadorov brings. Again, Zadorov is probably a meaner player than DPD. But yeah, no, I like the comp there. And look, I don't know if the Canucks knew exactly how soon DPD would be ready, but I think they're thinking that they're about their defense differently right now, right? I think a main reason why Carson Soucy might be on the block, aside from his massive struggles, is that maybe DPD is ready sooner than people think. Maybe he is a bit Alex Edler-esque and is more or less a full-time NHL from here on out. I do think that is a fair question, man. Oh man, DPD, he's got the sauce, man. Check out the comments, Mother Nucker. Mother Nucker, man, give some of your mojo to Elias Pettersson, man. Unbelievable stuff. Anyways, I got to get out of here. Shout out to you and you. Subscribe, like the video. If you like what we're doing, go follow us on the podcast. I leave a 5-star review. Love all of you. Kyle Bound, throwing it to you, brother. Peace.
Okay, let me read some comments. One love to Bagsy, second best dad in the world. And also, again, one love to you and you for just being here, man. Living the dream every day, talking about the Canucks. And again, I'm not just watching the games. Bagsy's not just watching the games. You are too. So why don't you get on the action again here on Locked On Canucks? All right, man. I saw a couple comments that I really liked. Okay, how about this one? Good eye. This kid reminds me more of Matthias Ohlund. I would like that. Matthias Ohlund was actually my first favorite player of all time. Okay, think about that. At a young age, we had Bertuzzi, Naslin doing their thing. Boom, bam. Brendan Morrison, Dan Kluche, boom, bam. Do the math. And there I am choosing the humble giant, Matthias Ohlund, okay? Even at a young age, I can understand that this guy was like so important. Borderline number 2 defenseman. I think if we had a Norris guy with us, like a Quinn Hughes with us, like I think he would, be that number 2 guy. He was really good. And it's sad to see that he signed a long-term deal with Tampa Bay and got injured right away. But yeah, if Matthias Ohlund is a comp for DPD, which is crazy to say, I'm down for it, man. I'm down for it. Next comment. This one goes to Mother Nucker. Okay, he's saying, I'm not chirping Pettersson anymore, Elias Pettersson, but someone being paid that much needs to be held accountable for not performing. It is reality. Hope it changes, okay? And Pink Sunglasses replies to that. Not every player lives up to the money. And Pink Sunglasses also says people get jealous of other people's money, it seems. Okay, Canucks fans are not getting jealous of the amount of money Elias Pettersson makes. We're getting jealous of other teams having, like, their best of the best players, performing. That's all it is. That's what we're doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're getting jealous of that. The fact that this team is just missing an obvious oomph. You know what I'm saying? Some of that swag, some of that sauce, and I don't know. We'll see. We may have to wait till like next September to see it. All in all, though, go Canucks, go. Let's win some games, and maybe Pettersson can turn into like Filip Hronek this season and just focus on defense, right? That's where we are. Hey, man. At least we have Elias Pettersson, okay? Next comment. Space Whales is saying Hoglander is looking feisty. Yo, I hope they keep pushing the Hoglander thing, man. Pushing that button. He had a moment in the third period where he reached for a puck in the defensive zone, couldn't get the puck out. And I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, please talk it. Please talk it. Please talk it. Don't clip that. Don't show him that film. Don't scratch him. Because this team needs bite. This team needs tenacity. Hoglander stepping up for Linus Karlsson, AHLer Linus Karlsson. He just got sent down. Hoglander doing that against a taller individual in Miles Wood. Like, Miles Wood looks like I'm not going to say he looks like a serial killer, but he looks like a mean guy, You're risking the biscuit when you're doing that. Niels Hoglander at 4'2", risking his life for, again, an AHL. It just shows you that he's a Canuck. And promoting Niels Hoglander's progression this season is so important because, again, he gets paid $3 million next season. So, yeah, I'm just liking Hoglander's game recently, man. He's got that step to him. And to be honest, I still don't know why him and Pettersson aren't playing together, considering that like 5 days ago, they were really, really good together. But that's Rick talking for you, okay? He's having too much fun. He's just playing NHL out there and pressing a triangle for best lines before every game, okay? Anyways, next comment. Oh, I like this one too from Space Whalers. Okay, there's a bit of Jarkko Ruutu buried in Niels Höglander. Okay, we need that. We need that, okay? Hey, thanks for the super chat, Steven, okay? $2. Trevor Beggs, you can have it. You got a family, okay? It is what it is. How about this comment from Pink Sunglasses? Okay, I'm not mad if Brock Besser leaves. Look, the cap is going up. Maybe Brock Besser is more digestible. I don't know, look at $7.5 or $8 million. Some people will look at that as a bargain. But all I'm saying is he's got to execute more. You know what I'm saying? Because he's had so many prime opportunities in recent history. And I know he scored that goal against Blackwood yesterday, but, you know, fanning on passes a couple times on the power play. A lot of people like to point at Pettersson being bad on the power play right now. How about Brock Besser? I know he scored a power play goal off the rush. It looked kind of weird, but I'm not being negative. I'm just saying I want to see the next level of execution from that guy in a time where the team needs him. Okay, like, these are the big games, and we've seen Besser do it in big games before. Maybe treat these next couple months like they're playoff games, and bring back that April Brock Besser, because again, we need him. We need him. Next comment. Happy Jack saying that the speed from the newcomers is so noticeable. We need more of that. Man, oh man. Isn't it crazy how in August, in July, Trevor and I are talking about Danton Heinen adding that speed to this team? Like, oh, we need Danton Heinen. He's a quick player. He's a fast player. He's going to raise the speed of this team. And isn't it crazy that after we said that, you guys are still all here? That's what relationships are all about, man. Ups and downs, You stick through the tough times, the hard times, boom, bam, We're not wrong all the time. We're not right all the time. It is what it is. We're just locked on Canucks. It is what it is. Anyways, my name's Kyle Bowen. That was Trevor Beggs. Again, the second best dad in the world. If you enjoyed the episode today, hit the like button, okay? We're positive today, man. Pettersson, man. Pettersson's the best thing ever. Boom, bam. Marcus Pettersson, Elias Pettersson. You know what? Elias Pettersson too. Filip Hronek, okay? It is what it is. Positive times. The Canucks are 4-1-1. Again, I'm feeling like myself again. San Jose tomorrow. Toronto on Saturday. Let's pick up 2 more wins. You know what I'm saying? Let's hope that Calgary loses a game too. In between then and now, or there. And we go into the Four Nations tournament comfortably. Or just, outside of being tied with Calgary, let's just be ahead of them in points percentages and points, and let's just sleep easily going into the break, and let's take care of business with or without Quinn Hughes too, okay? A lot going on in the Canuck universe. Again, though, my name's Kyle Bowen. That was another episode of Locked On Canucks. Subscribe, hit the like button, boom, bam, you know the deal. And one love to the Don't Does Art Lab for hosting us and allowing us to do this, and that's give you that West Coast bias every now and then. Enjoy yourselves, have fun today, and remember, like Terry Fox said, man, we're nothing without hope. So hope that everything's going to be all right, okay? Peace out. What?
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.